The Wanderer. The first time we'd heard that name was from the Oracle's final prophecy near the end of Chapter 5, Season 2, Myths and Mortals.
You have won a great victory for humanity. But your war has not yet begun. Storm clouds gather. The Wanderer draws near.
After we defeated Zeus, the Oracle had warned us of the Wanderer's imminent arrival and that he would bring about a war to the island. With the release of Chapter 5 Season 3 Wrecked, what the Oracle foretold had come to pass. Alongside the arrival of Megalodon was the Wanderer as well, but not in the way many of us expected. Instead of having all the spotlight, Megalodon is the main focus right now, while the Wanderer remains unseen, eerily lurking in the background. This mysterious character has everyone on the edge of their seats, wanting to know who is beneath those white robes. I have an idea of who it may possibly be, so sit back, relax, and let's uncover the true identity of the Wanderer. When Chapter 5 Season 3 first began, thanks to leakers, we got our first look at the Wanderer in the form of graffiti art. It showed us a figure wearing white robes with scribbles and question marks drawn over the parts that would reveal who it is. After being given confirmation that this being was in fact the Wanderer, I realized that the same figure can be seen in a Nitro Fusion Megalodon loading screen, riding with Megalodon's crew and observing the chaos ensuing on the island. A couple weeks later, we received dialogue about the Wanderer from Rust, Power Chord, Backbone, Riot, Kiara, and Triage Trooper when asked if they've seen anything strange on the island. Rust tells us he has, first telling us that the wasteland is always weird, but this figure he's seen in the distance recently is very strange. Rust says he's not afraid, but he mentions that others are. Power Chord tells us she's been getting creeped out as of late, thinking that she sees a hooded figure out of the corner of her eye, but when she tries to get a good look, the figure is no longer there. Backbone tells us that sometimes he goes out on a ride, just him and the breeze, until he feels the presence of someone else there, though when he looks around, no one is there. Riot tells us that occasionally he'll be alone, shredding his guitar until suddenly he gets the feeling as if someone else is there with him, even though he can't see anyone, ruining his guitar session. Kiara tells us the wasteland is strange enough as is, but recently she's had the unsettling feeling that someone is watching her. Lastly, Triage Trooper tells us that he's been very paranoid as of late. Just like all the rest, he gets a disturbing feeling that someone is watching him, but whenever he looks around, there's never anything there. So basically, there's a bunch of crazy schizos on the island.
Hey guys, I'm in New York City just hanging out.
Seriously speaking though, there's a constant reoccurring pattern in the dialogue from all these characters. All of them claim to either have seen a hooded figure in the distance or feel a constant disturbance as if they're being watched by someone. That someone being, of course, the Wanderer. There's not much to these dialogues, however we learn that the Wanderer is ominously observing the island's inhabitants for some reason. A couple days before the update, Epic accidentally pushed out new Megalodon voice lines in foreign languages too early, one of which were about the Wanderer, giving us a lot more insight about him. Take a listen.
Além do que suas mentes insignificantes poderiam compreender. Ou não, ele também nunca me deixou ver seu rosto.
This voice line from Megalodon is extremely important for multiple reasons, giving us a better idea of who this mysterious Wanderer is. In the voice line, Megalodon confirms that the Wanderer is a man and that he's allied with the Wanderer. Although I think the most important part of this all is that Meg tells us that the Wanderer has business to resolve on the island, meaning that the Wanderer has been on the island before, suggesting that he could be a former villain we've seen in the past. But keep this in the back of your mind because we'll come back to this a bit later. When the version 30.20 update released, we got our first look at the Wanderer NPC in-game and a bit of lore about him. Leakers were able to get us a closer look at the Wanderer, and for now, he's just a huge white floating cloak with no body on the inside, likely to conceal the identity of the Wanderer. Then, when the Wanderer NPC was enabled, he spawned in 3 areas: Coastal Comms, Estate Station, and Placid Pumps, which is conveniently a gas station. So now we have a hooded figure who sells gas station weed and a drug addict on the island. Season 3 is about drugs. All jokes aside, when you take a look at the Wanderer, you'll notice a dark smoke inside his cloak, and outside is this bluish aura around him. Yes, he has infinite aura, suggesting he could be distorting his surroundings. However, if you approach him too close, whether it be in-game or in replay mode, he vanishes without a trace. During this update, a Magneto NPC was also added, who can be asked if he's seen anything strange on the island. Magneto responds by saying there's more strangeness on this island than we can possibly imagine. He tells us that recently he's seen visions of a stranger, describing them as an impending evil, and that Magneto is not the only one who's seen this stranger. The stranger Magneto speaks of is, of course, the Wanderer. This dialogue gives us a better understanding of who the Wanderer might be because Magneto does not recognize him, and he informs us that the Wanderer is an unnatural evil. A week later, once we complete the Enter the Nitrodrome quest and retrieve the second Pandora's gem for Hope, Hope tells us a secret she's hiding from Jones. That being that she's receiving visions from the gems of a cloaked wanderer working with Megalodon. However, Hope believes the vision might be a metaphor of some kind and is not too concerned about it considering she's never seen the guy. She then follows up by telling us to be careful and notify her if we see a big guy in weather inappropriate robes, which helps us narrow down who the Wanderer is if he's a former character, since Hope just confirmed that he's a big muscular guy. Although I believe Hope's lack of care about the Wanderer will be her undoing. Hope's obsession with trying to find Pandora's box is blinding her from seeing what truly threatens the island, that being the Wanderer. And once she realizes it, it'll be far too late to stop him, especially because she's refraining from telling Jones about what she's seen in her visions. Since nothing really happened during Epic summer break, we're just gonna fast forward to the version 30.30 update. The Wanderer's NPC had moved down to the wasteland, now spawning at Cliffside Lodge, east of the Nitrodrome and south of the Dam Bridge. Along with the update, a new NPC was added named Joey Caliente, who can be asked if he's seen anything strange just like all the other NPCs. He says he's seen a wanderer walking around the wasteland, describing him as a spicy character who vanishes faster than a hot flash. It's basically the same thing the rest have said, so it's nothing new. More importantly though, Megalodon received new voice lines this week, and in one of them he ominously speaks to us about how he will succeed in raising the island because he was assured of this by a wise friend. That wise friend likely being the Wanderer. Take a listen.
I can see you out there, watching me. Watching my glorious pipeline, inching closer to the beast, whose belly will fill with nitro, and who will tear you to shreds. Meddle while you can. You will not stop me. I have been assured of this by a wise friend.
Lastly, on August 6th, version 30.40, the final update of Season 3 released, and we got a ton of lore about the Wanderer. Thanks to leaks, in the Part 6 Beware the Wanderer questline, which releases on August 9th, we learn that the Oracle speaks to Hope and Jones about the Wanderer and gives us some very important information about him. Take a listen.
Hope and this box, they're linked by fate, by the cycles of time and destiny eternal. But the Wanderer, his interference has warped this fate. His presence has rewritten the stars themselves. And now it is not enough to simply close the box. You must fight. And you must win. Do you see it now? You were meant to be the hope at the bottom of Pandora's box. I get it. It's literal. It's literally your name. Take it up with the fates, okay? This Wanderer has taken the box's power for himself, and he has sealed your fate along with his. There is no turning back for you now.
The Oracle tells us that the Wanderer's very presence has interfered with Hope's fate and rewritten the stars themselves, meaning destiny itself. She then follows up by telling us that the Wanderer has taken the powers of Pandora's box for himself and has sealed Hope's fate along with his. To be capable of rewriting destiny and fate purely because of his existence means the Wanderer is astronomically powerful. In those quests, we also get the opportunity to speak to Magneto, and when we interact with this NPC, Magneto says, "You're the keepers of that box, are you? Forgive me for speaking plainly, but that thing's gonna destroy us all. I can't verify this Wanderer is who I think he is, but if it's him, if he's the one seizing that box's powers, this place may be doomed. I've already set up beacons to call in reinforcements for you, but there's only so much we can do. Now, for anyone who even knows just a bit about Dr. Doom, you'll instantly realize that Magneto believes the Wanderer could be Dr. Doom, hence why he says if he's the one seizing that box's powers, this place may be doomed. So, case closed, right? Dr. Doom is the Wanderer, and that's it. Dr. Doom is absolutely going to be involved with next season. There's leaks already pointing towards it, and then we have the Pandora gem that has the Doom constellation in it. For those who haven't seen it yet, a countdown has appeared near the Leviathan for Season 3's event, which is only 3 days away. The event will begin on August 10th at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so if you want to see it, make sure you're free around that time and day. And also, Season 4 itself is only 9 days away, meaning we have a lot to look forward to in the next 2 weeks for Fortnite Storyline. Thank you all for watching, and see you guys in the next one. Take care.